It's the noontime hour with Mike Reiss of ESPN. Mike, great to see you.
Beto, Zoe, Tim, great to be with you guys.
He is fired up about a Patriots win. I can tell. The energy has shifted a little bit here, hasn't it, Mike?
Well, I was going to ask you. I was worried about you last week. You didn't love the product in week one. Thought maybe boring. Thought we were past that. And then after this game, which was entertaining yet imperfect, a lot of things to clean up. How do you feel?
I feel 1,000 times better this week.
Yeah.
They haven't won in Miami in what seems like forever.
Yeah.
And they bounced back. I think the big theme of this week is that there was resiliency, there was adversity faced, and yeah, not a clean game. Obviously, a lot of mistakes were made, but they kept fighting back, battling back, answering with responses in game, and I think that response in the big picture shows you something. Like, they pulled themselves up off the mat for the first time in a very long time.
No question. And I was thinking about our conversation going through, could this be 0-2, 0-3?
Right.
Yeah. Now, it changes the conversation. And I have my three things, so I'm just gonna let it rip. If Beetle was as excited, like he would have been even more so if he watched Mike Vrabel in the tunnel after the game, greeting every player and coach into the locker room.
I saw your video.
Yeah, and that was like a little snippet of a longer one,
yeah.
and I think I wanted to start with that.
I almost mentioned it earlier because there was one player who was not in a good mood.
Robert Spillane.
Yes.
Well, we should get into that in like some of the things that need to get cleaned up. He wasn't happy with his performance.
We can get back to
good,
but let's get to your big three.
So one of the things Vrabel said to just the players as they're coming in was, he said, there will be good days and bad days, but we just won a bleeping shootout. And, with excitement, as if to say, look, I know it wasn't ideal and perfect, and we have things to clean up defensively and special teams-wise, but we should all feel good about what just happened. And so I relay that for my first point, which is like, this was not a good win. This was a great win because they needed it. They needed it for what you talked about. But they needed it for themselves. And in the locker room after the game, one thing that Garrett Bradbury, the center, said that resonated with me was he was asked, what can a win like this do for your team and your identity? And he said, well, Vrabel always talks about playing to our identity, but it's one thing to talk about it, but until you go do it, it's just a sign on the wall. And I thought that was powerful, Zoe, and I think the way they played, and not just the way they played, they needed to get the result. This is me adding to what Bradbury said, because you can play that way, but if you lose because A-Chain doesn't step out of bounds.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, okay, so if he doesn't step out of bounds, it's a different ballgame, right?
And we might be having a different conversation.
Maybe they respond. What I did like that he kept saying after the game, Vrabel, we don't want to be a front-running team. We do not want to be a bunch of front-runners.
Yep.
We want to stand there, take the shot, have a rock fight, and let's go, heavyweight fight.
Yep.
And that's the physicality part of it. That's that violence part he's talking about. He's going to get the defense playing a little more violent.
Definitely.
And I thought Duggar had some big hits in the game.
Yep.
It is interesting, though, with Spillane. I like the fact he's pissed off.
Yep.
He doesn't tolerate that. He doesn't accept that because he's got to be better. Because they have nobody behind him, Mike.
Yep. Yep.
We were talking about that first hour. One of those linebackers goes down. Say Ellis goes down. They're in trouble.
So they got Spillane, Ellis, Mapu, Gibbons, and Tavai on injured reserve, who could come back after week 4. I don't think any of the names I mentioned would match Spillane.
Right.
But I do think they could get by, but he's a key guy. So that was my first thing. My second thing is Drake, just to, I think, don't ignore the obvious. And I would just want to go back to last week and I just think he went back to the lab, tightened up a few things on the mechanics, listening to Brian Hoyer talk about that, and he got the easy throws and made them, and it made it easier to play the game. He went from 65% completion to 82%. And just make it easy for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was, and I think that's my number 2. And my number 3 is, if I were to say to you guys, the last 2 years, what's the one position that we've talked about more than any other that has held this team back? What would you say?
Offensive line.
What would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. It has to be top of the list.
That's my third point. There were some of the most promising things that I've seen rewatching it that make you think, okay, don't go overboard. It's one game, but if they can keep these 5 together, there was some great pass protection, some great coordination in the run game where I thought to myself, wow, 1, credit to the players. 2, the coaches seem to know what they're doing up there. And I thought the left side with the 2 young guys,
Yep.
This was a great week to compare it to the team on the other side because the Dolphins had Patrick Paul, a second-round pick last year at left tackle, and Jonah Savalanea at left guard, second-round pick this year, who the Patriots liked. And I think you can compare the two, and you say, this team, Patriots, had better performance on the left side. The improvement with the stunts that Campbell and Wilson had struggled with a little bit, and so some promise that gives you hope on the foundation going forward.
How do you think Will
good.
Campbell played in the game when you rewatched?
Really good. Really good. You know, had the false start that Vrabel didn't think was a false start. Probably could have gone either way when I watched it over, but he's good, Beetle. He's good.
I thought he had a good game, and I thought Wilson was unstoppable.
I just think, on those trap plays, and I was telling Mike, we did this for X's and O's on All Access, the trap play with Ramondre, that 21-yard run. They were super blocked up. They brought Hollins in the tight formation. Drake called him in, reset Hunter Henry to the left. You're telling everybody in the stadium you're running the ball, and they couldn't stop it. That's a good thing going forward, because I don't think Drake gets the type of time and calls that Josh gave him to where if you're stuffing the run, you don't have a bootleg. You don't have play action. So the fact you came out and asserted yourself, got him under center early in the game, and got him off platform, had him thrown on the run. Easy throws, like you said. Easy, quick reads, get it out, and you're off and running.
And even when the offensive line had a few breakdowns, like Drake's touchdown run, where there was free rusher coming off the left side, I think Drake was so in command that he helped them get out of trouble. So it was perfect. I think you balance it off. I go back and forth. Got to call the performance for what it is. It was excellent. The other team, obviously not at the same level of some other teams that Patriots are going to see this year. So I'm trying to be careful of living in the world of, does Drake have too much on his plate in week 1 and we're worried, we're concerned, and then this week he plays well, everything's well. You look around the league and you're like, J.J. McCarthy of the Vikings leads a comeback, then he looks not so great. All these young quarterbacks, right? It's going to take some time, but that was promising.
Yeah, Penix wasn't over the top grade either. But after week 1, everybody wanted to redraft these quarterbacks. And, forgot about Drake Maye. Redraft him now. I think he's still where he is, third. You take him third because people are going to still argue that Caleb has more of an upside because he's the number 1 pick. But I don't think that's going to end well. I just think Daniels and Drake are the top 2.
And Daniels dealing for the first time with some
injury,
potential stuff. So see how it all turns out. I feel strongly that the infrastructure around Drake is at a level that's going to give him the best chance to succeed. And where it goes, honestly, I don't know if any of us can say for sure. But I think they got the best setup to make it work.
But Will's a high pick, so he's the 4th pick. You don't want to say that's an easy one, but everybody says, hey, Drake was an easy pick a year ago.
Yeah,
he was picked number 3. But you still picked Will, and then you got a guard, 2 draft picks. There's a lot of rookies playing.
Yep.
Like 5 or 6 rookies. They all made mistakes in the game. I know Henderson got caught for the 2 holds, and he had a special teamer, but you could clean that stuff up.
Yep.
The big thing is Mr. Kraft. The big thing is these guys are getting experience, and that's good, and a win. They know how to win on the road in a divisional game. That's a good message for them.